Just like the clothes we wear, fashions come and go, but there are always some classics, and the same can be said for gardens.
In this month's Essay Life magazine, I look at garden trends from the 50s right through to today, the things we used to love and what we discovered along the way. A bit of a trip down memory lane.
Here in Australia, we've learnt some valuable lessons. In many places, the European plants just didn't work. Thankfully, we now understand Australian native plants. Not only are they versatile, but they attract birds in the garden. Now, I bet this reminds you of your grandmother's garden. It's got all the attributes: the concrete, the philodendron, the lovely flowering geraniums, the succulents, and even the Hills hoist.
We used them as swings, shades, every backyard had one. Add a bit of lawn and some fruit trees in the corners, and that was about it. In the 50s, we were frugal. Our front yards often just a few concrete paths, flat lawn, and maybe a small flower bed or even a few pots around the place.
The 60s was a time when our gardens were going from practical to aesthetic, and garden centres were emerging all over South Australia, and a trip to the garden centre was a real weekend treat.
The plants we were buying were the elegant silver birch. We loved hibiscus and nandina. We covered our fences with ivy and couldn't get enough of oleander, grevillea and bottlebrush. Hardy plants were the benchmark of the 70s. Mother-in-law's tongues, spathiphyllums, umbrella trees for inside and out, and one plant that's making a huge comeback 40 years later, the Ficus lyrata, or fiddle-leaf ficus. Tough as old boots and make that great statement. Colour came from cyclamens and fuchsias, and who didn't have a cymbidium orchid or two around the place? The 80s was the golden age of the palm tree, and the one we planted the most was the cocos. Almost now a pest plant, this particular palm absolutely loves our climate. We were putting in pools and putting up pergolas so that we could entertain outdoors, the beginning of a trend that is so much a part of our lifestyle today.
And in the late 80s, we started listening to people in the know as gardening shows became hugely popular, much like the cooking shows of today.
In the 90s, we fell in love with hedges and topiary, in particular the box hedge. The Tuscan era was here, the perfect opportunity for professional designers to make their mark on South Australian yards. And the noughties? Well, we still love the box hedge and Pittostrem Screenmaster, but their demise came in the form of severe drought and consequent water restrictions. In answer, we turned to Mediterranean plants, far better suited to our conditions. Outside began to blend seamlessly with inside, and architectural plants were used for colour and texture. Grasses created stunning effects, things like flax, cordylines, yuccas, mondos, and we picked the best and toughest natives and succulents to add to the mix. But I mentioned classics, and one classic that I believe will never go out of style is the rose. No matter what type of garden, there was and always will be a rose to complement it.
And where are we today? Well, we're far more conscious about using water, and our gardens have changed. Still decorative, of course, but more emphasis on fruit and veg. We're loving community gardens, and at home, many of us are putting in raised garden beds or growing in pots.
So really, in philosophy, we're going full circle. Back to the 50s and 60s, when migrants were growing food in the backyards of their quarter-acre blocks. We spend more time than ever entertaining outside, and we're beginning a bit of a love affair with vertical and rooftop gardens, practical solutions for small or unused areas.
But it doesn't matter how much space you've got. As long as you've got sunshine, you'll be able to grow something for your kitchen. And that, my friends, is what I really love, to be able to eat something that I've grown myself.